Hi, this is our video on deciding on your transportation situation. And basically, this is now going to parlay into our life budget. So I just wanted to kind of go over what this is all about. So one of your major life decisions and one that will have to be factored into your budget is transportation costs. You're going to have to think about how you'll get to work, how you'll get around your town or city, and how you would get to places outside of your town and city. And so here are the basic options for transportation in general. You can buy a new or used car, you can lease a new car, you can use public transportation, you can walk or bicycle, you can use corridor or long distance trains, which would be like Amtrak, or you can use commercial airlines. You'll need to consider these options in deciding how you answer the 3 bulletin questions. You will also need to consider your take-home pay. Ideally, your transportation costs will not exceed 15% of your monthly take-home pay. In fact, each of you will have a spreadsheet that's shared with you that looks like this. So you have your overall budget, which I've just put in some fantasy numbers here. I put 5,000. I actually left the formulas in for you so you could use it. Then you have your real values, which you're going to be putting in, and then you have the percentages. I left that in for you. So when you research a car, you're going to be researching the following costs: your down payment, your monthly loan or lease payment, your fuel costs, insurance, maintenance, tolls, and parking. I should put on here as well. Parking. And you also have to choose between a loan and a lease. Some of you may be using public transportation to get around. That also costs money. So you're going to have to research those costs. I've given you some websites that might be helpful in researching the costs. And then some of you may be living very far away from your home, your family. So you'll be researching long-range transportation if you need to. That's something, if you know you're going to be using, you would want to budget for. So I've given you some websites where you can research flights, and you may want to start looking at Amtrak. Amtrak goes all along the East Coast. It goes across the country, and basically, you're going to open up the 3.9 spreadsheet, and you're going to fill out your take-home pay and your rent costs. So your take-home pay and your real value rent cost. Those are your big numbers, how much you make take-home pay-wise and what your rent ended up being. By the way, if you're sharing with someone, right, your rent can be half of what the actual rent of the place was. So make sure you're putting in the number that you are paying here. All right, this should be the number that you pay, not necessarily how much you and your partner are spending on rent. So if you're researching a car, you have to decide if you're buying new, buying used, or leasing a car. In any event, everyone will have $5,000 to use toward a car. All right. You can research the car you're going to buy or lease, and the necessary costs to acquire that car. You can start with cars.com and fill out the necessary spreadsheet tab. So everything can go in here. You have your total cost, and then buying or leasing. Whoops, I have to put the buying spreadsheet in here. I just realized. Researching public transportation. If you're going to use public transportation, you have to research the transportation costs using the site above, and you're inputting that information in the appropriate spreadsheet tabs. So I've kind of given you a very basic spreadsheet: monthly train, monthly subway, monthly bus, and a total. You'd have to research that. Researching transportation to leave your town. Like I said, if you're going to be living somewhere where, let's say you lived in the city and you wanted to go see your parents in Rybrook, that would not be a big deal. But let's say, on the other hand, you lived in California and you wanted to see your parents and they lived in Rybrook. That's a very different story. And then you're filling out the Google form with the necessary information. All right, thanks, guys.